Which Raka says, after the fighter stream, we now know the sword goes swoosh, and that actually brings us perfect timing. To actually, do you want to choose a discussion theme? We can talk about the live stream feedback. We can talk about experience within Ashes. Is there anything that's like pull into you that you're wanting to talk about more?
I'll talk about the fighter stream. I absolutely love the fighter stream. You want me to go ahead and take it away, or you got?
Is there any particular topic listed there that you would like to start us off with?
Let's see. Let me go ahead and pull that back up. Sorry. I lost it here. I completely lost it. You're going to have to take it away on that one, Chibi, because it's not on my computer right now, and I can't find it.
Oh no.
You hit me at the topic, and then I'll talk if you like.
Umbra, you are ridiculous right now. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about combat, because this is not anything new. But Chicago on the forums wanted to talk about thoughts on the combat after the live stream. And honestly, this is something that has been stated multiple times, that they feel like the combat is not where it should be, et cetera, et cetera. I believe Steven's even kind of pointed this out, that the combat isn't really the focus at the moment quite yet. It's getting the thing set up in the first place, and then combat will be tweaked as Alpha 2 goes. Yeah, so Chicago saying, I was really concerned about combat after watching this. It's obvious to see Intrepid are making huge strides in the work that they have done on combat, and I can't give them enough credit for this. I can see by just watching this that they are already taking steps towards balancing combat around PvP, and I love to see this. There's one thing I would critique that I'm really curious about others' opinions. Take this with a grain of salt, because this could feel extremely different whilst playing, and that's the biggest part I would like to add. Watching somebody play feels very different than playing yourself. Mm-hmm. So Chicago says, I think that too many animations are still locking the character in place. From my experience, this has never felt fun to play. Keep in mind, I can't tell how it feels just by watching. What do you think? Do you think the animations are too strong? Do you think they're keeping the person locked in?
No, I don't. I actually I thought this combat probably, to me, looked the best that it's looked since they've had dev streams. I have no problem with, like, say, what was it, the Cataclysm that locks you into place as you cast it. I have no problem with that. I thought the Blitz looked fantastic. The leap ability was outstanding. It reminded me of Arcage ability from Behind the Lines, from the Battle Rage archetype. No, I think their combat looks good. And again, you can't, just like you mentioned, we can't tell until we play it, because it's going to feel a lot different when we're actually playing it and playing against somebody else. He was not fighting anybody other than just some monsters. So, which goblins, which, by the way, Steven, if you're watching ever, it was sounding awesome. So Tori and Andrew, I believe, were the ones that did the audio on that, and they did a fantastic job. So no, I have absolutely no problem with the combat. I'm actually very excited with the direction it's going. I think people need to just relax a little bit and wait till we get into Alpha 2. Look, when we get into Alpha 2, you're going to get to see all the PvP you want. Everyone's going to have a stream up there of fighting caravans, of ganking people, node wars, guild wars, doing everything. People just need to relax. Let's judge then. Let's give Intrepid that much and judge it then. So
yeah, I don't think there's too many skills locking the player in place. At least from looking at it, again, it's going to be different depending on how it feels when played. But looking at it, no, it doesn't feel too bad. I always believe there should be a decent number that either lock someone in place or slow you down incredibly.
Yeah.
Like if you're working on a big power move like that Cataclysm example Keon mentioned, it should take you a moment to swing a gigantic sword and literally crush the ground, right? It shouldn't be just an incident like a flick of the hand as you're running by.
If I had to pick and be picky, the only skill that I didn't like was the lunging the lunging ability, where I felt that I could reach farther into the refrigerator than that move went. So it didn't really feel like a lunge. So I think that one could use a little bit of tweaking. Of course, they're going to have to probably tweak that exert ability, the quote God mode, because that one looks like a little ridiculous. But other than that, and I believe it's been stated that the fighter will have the most gap closing abilities, and it showed it. Being able to jump up on a cliff with 2 different abilities, with the leap and the blitz, that's crazy. So no, I'm very excited. I love the direction they're going. Now, if they could just show me Rogue.
Yeah. My opinion on this, the whole fighter, to get mine in, is that I think, like you said, it's getting better. But I was also correct, I want to say. I don't remember where I said this. I don't know when I said it. It may have been on a Tavern Talk episode. But I said I thought that the fighter was going to offset the ranger, and they kind of proved my point. Just by the way that they explained it on the wiki, with saying that, like you mentioned, gap closers, etc. I think that was a little bit of a thing that I keyed into as like a ranger creates gaps, fighter closes gaps. So
they need a melee class like that to be able to gap close, or else it's just going to be a ranged game, range and casters, and that's not going to be fun for anybody who chooses to do melee. And that's another reason why I think people sleep on the tank ability, where they're able to throw that javelin and pull them back in. That's going to be huge. So, do the scorpion, get over here. So, that's going to be big, so I think that they're trying to give a little bit of love to melee as well. And you need that. It's absolutely need that.
And Chibi, did you also notice, since you were talking about fighter closing gaps on Ranger, with his gap closing abilities, he actually had to jump before it would go vertical? Because both of them, the dash thing and the jumpy skill, he used them, but he hit the ground. He like slid off the cliff and didn't quite go up there until he ran over across the river, jumped first, and then used it.
Yeah,
I remember hearing, I don't know why this is popping up weird. Sorry. I remember hearing something, because I was working while that was going on. I remember the dev saying something about like not quite getting the vertical thing to work yet. And then like right after he said that, Steven had gotten it apparently, because the response was like, oh, there you go. But yeah, I think that's really cool, because that shows a lot of versatility, and if a ranger is gonna pop up there, then the fighter can say, I can do that too.
They just have to remember to hit the jump button before they smash their skill. If not, they're going to slip and fall on their face and hit the cliff sideways.
Right. This goes back to Virtek's favorite saying of spacebar best skill. But
best skill in every game.
I am very excited. Kind of a thing that Chicago brought up is that it seems like it might be centered around PvP. And I think that's a smart thing, because it's a PvX game with a lot of PvP happening, right? So I think that's really intelligent for them to base it around PvP. I cannot wait to see some actual PvP. And I can't wait to see how people do in Alpha 2 with PvP. I think it's very exciting.